Hey, it is me, it's Benji. So, Blizzard announced today that the classic hardcore realms will be coming to the PTR on June 29th. Also have their rules posted here, how the hardcore realms work, and we're going to go over those real quick. So, the overview. Death on hardcore realms is permanent on that realm. This means that if you die, you won't be able to run back to your corpse and resurrect, nor can you be resurrected by any other spell or ability. This means that even if you have abilities as part of your class, such as a shaman's reincarnation or warlock soulstone, they won't be of any use. You will continue to exist in the game only as a ghost, facilitate communication with in-game friends, resolve logistical matters such as handing over guild leadership, if you're the guild master, who has died an unfortunate death. Your character is not necessarily lost if you die, however. After dying on a hardcore realm, players will be able to choose to utilize the free character move service and move their dead character to a non-hardcore classic era realm. Once the move is complete, the non-hardcore realm, that player may resurrect as normal, but the way back to a hardcore realm will be closed, which I think is fantastic. It lets people go try hardcore that maybe wouldn't try it, but then if they don't like it, they can always move that character over. Or maybe you're level 60 and you're like, oh, you move it over to another realm, keep playing that character. All right, PvP flagging, and you. Players will no longer be automatically flagged for PvP upon attacking another player. To flag yourself for PvP, you must type the command /PvP. You won't be able to take hostile actions against a flagged enemy player unless you flag yourself deliberately. We've added this failsafe to prevent situations in which a player could unintentionally take aggressive action against another player who is flagged for PvP and unwittingly flag themselves by requiring players to type /PvP before engaging in any PvP content. This maintains fairness and keeps PvP as a consensual part of the game. It also reduces the likelihood someone will be tricked into becoming flagged unintentionally. It's important to note that attacking an enemy faction NPC will still flag you even if you haven't typed /PvP, so steer clear of settlements of the opposing faction. It's great. It's a good step to get rid of some of the griefing of trying to get a lower level player to target you when you're so you can kill them. See PvP Battlegrounds and Warfare. Battlegrounds are completely disabled as they're all PvP Battlemasters. Still under pre-made war games, may not gain honor or PvP reputation from war games. While PvP is a fun part of World of Warcraft, by allowing players to enter Battlegrounds on a one-life character, there's a concern this would lead to overly defensive play, often to the point of non-participation, especially when you consider how powerful some of the rewards from the factions, such as the Stormpike Guard or the Frostwolf Clan PvP. It's not the focus of the hardcore game mode, so we've decided to disable normal PvP. Makes perfect sense. I don't know who would go into a battleground and only have one life. Sounds terrible. Various quests and objectives that cause players to become flagged for PvP, such as the attack and missing diplomat, no longer cause a player to become flagged. Those were never strictly meant to flag you for PvP, but this is a result of how the creatures were set up at the time and was likely the result of an early technical limitation. You no longer have this limitation, and to prevent unintended consequences or gotchas, after accepting an innocuous-looking quest, we decided to no longer cause these quests to flag you for PvP. Various quests and objectives that require the player to die to complete or initiate the quest or objective may now be completed without the player's demise. While these quests are iconic and flavorful, the requirement of the character to be in a state of death is obviously problematic on a hardcore realm. As a result, we've designed new ways to complete these quests without requiring a character to die or be dead. Awesome. Many quests that require escorting NPC targets have been adjusted in such a way that most escort-related NPCs may no longer be attacked by players of the opposing faction. Many quest-related NPCs, particularly at low level, are very easily killed. There's very little counterplay to a high-level player of the opposing faction running up, killing your escort NPC, and running away. This is a vector for gameplay disruption that we don't feel has a place in the game, nor does it add anything meaningful to normal PvP. So far, I'm really excited they're taking steps to kind of try to limit anybody griefing anyone else. I mean, people will always find a way because they didn't get enough hugs as a child, but they're working on it. Danger leashed. Most creatures will leash and reset when leaving the area or zone they were engaged in. As much as we enjoyed frequent visits from the Terrormist, the Devourer, and Stormwind, or wandering Devil Swords and Thousand Needles, being able to drag or kite high-level monsters to lower-level areas is a large vector for gameplay disruption and something that doesn't have a place in WoW Classic Hardcore. The total range that the monsters can be pulled is currently large, fairly large rather, but can easily be adjusted. We'll be watching for feedback on this implementation from those participating in the PTR. The goal is to prevent high-level players from kiting dangerous monsters across entire zones. But we don't want to interfere with legitimate gameplay, such as hunters kiting elite monsters to solo difficult quests and similar expressions of skill. All dungeons have at least a 24-hour lockout timer for players below level 60. Stopping you from being able to just level in dungeons and not deal with anything. That's awesome. One of the most important aspects of the WoW Classic Hardcore realm is engaging in adventures in the outside world with other players. Creating random, serendipitous interactions is a core aspect of the original release of World of Warcraft, and spending most of your leveling time in dungeons is counter in spirit to what Hardcore is about. We do recognize there may be a desire to run a dungeon while leveling multiple times, such as to finish a quest or get an important piece of loot. As a result, we've added a 24-hour timer to almost all dungeons for players until they hit level 60. By extension, this also means that level 60 players may never enter low-level dungeons with players below level 60 for any reason. Additionally, we've carried over the group experience restrictions from Season of Mastery, meaning that players that are significantly higher level than creatures in a given dungeon will cause those creatures to grant trivial experience to other members of the group. Higher level characters power leveling, lower level characters are not something we feel is appropriate for WoW Classic Hardcore. This is a good one. The 16 debuff limit and 32 buff limits have been removed. Debuff and buff limits were originally a technical limitation of the early versions of World of Warcraft, not a conscious design choice at the time. Left in WoW Classic for authenticity, but this has always been a contentious part of WoW. Placed significant constraints on build and class diversity. As a result, we will remove this limitation. Nice. As a horde player, this is the next section. Paladins will no longer be able to use Hearthstone while under the effects of Blessing of Protection, Divine Protection, or Divine Shield on Hardcore realms. Being able to bubble Hearth is a fairly iconic, it's funny that's iconic, if not exactly heroic, feature of the Pally class. However, Nourish ability is no iconic feature of the Shaman class. While Paladins have enormous tools to prevent death, a Shaman's core tool to recover from death is wholly incompatible with Hardcore. As a result, we're removing the ability for Paladins to use their various immunity abilities to safely cast Hearthstone and escape. Now here's the best part. A new feature is being added to Hardcore realms. Duel to the death. To issue a duel to the death, you will need to right-click the target's portrait and request duel to the death from the context menu. A duel to the death can also be triggered by selecting the target and typing /Makgora. Chat window. Before commencing combat, both parties must read and acknowledge a warning message. As you can expect, duel to the death is permanent. Any other on Hardcore realms. Since bragging rights are important, we will be tracking the number of kills you receive in duels to the death with a special cosmetic buff on your character called String of Ears. Each time you win a duel to the death, you will receive a trophy. Stat count on this buff will increase by 1. That's so cool. Kind of like, what was it, Diablo 2? Where you just collected people's ears from PvP. Just had a dash full of them. I think that's awesome and great. I'm terrible at PvP, so I'll just lose characters, but still excited about it, and that's what's important. All content phases will be available from the go. We can summarize that pretty quickly. There's no releases like Blackwing and Raj and Noxtramus. They're just boom from the start. Go do it. This way people don't feel the need to rush to make sure they get their molten core in before they go to Blackwing Lair. All that. You just go and do it at your leisure. Kind of a downer. It doesn't give you an option for the opportunity for a hardcore character to become a Scarab Lord, but how many are going to really survive when everyone's out there trying to kill bugs forever, right? This whole section is gameplays on disruption of malicious player. Killing outside of consensual PP will not be tolerated. Deliberate action to hamper, signify, impede the ability of other players to enjoy the game. So this whole section is acting like decent human beings, which, people can't do. I'm glad they're putting this in. They've got report bombing covered in here. And reminding people it's critical to the health of the realm just to be a decent human being. But unless they're replacing their automated system back with people, then it's still going to be a problem. But that's okay. It's just the world it is. That's how the world is today, right? People just act a fool. That's it. Like I said, those are hitting the PTR the same day I'm posting this, which is June 29th, 2023. So hopefully everybody's excited. I'm excited to be able to start out when the realms go live. If you're excited or if you think there's any issues with any of the new rules and how they're implementing it, leave a comment down below. We can talk about it. I hope everybody has a great day.